This video is brought to you by Card Kingdom, and while supplies last, if you mention Saffron Olive in your order notes, we'll hook you up with a free Saffron Olive sticker with any Card Kingdom order.
Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Against the Odds. So last week, we had a hybrid modern against the odds poll, and in the end, it was Worldpurge coming out on top, which means today we are playing one of the trickiest cards, maybe in the history of Against the Odds. Worldpurge is a tough one, but I think I found a way, an extremely janky long shot way, but a way to kind of use it as a combo piece. So we're playing Worldpurge in Modern, and we're going to do a quick deck, talk about how this deck works, jump right into the gameplay, see if we can actually pull off what we're trying to do. Before we do, a super quick reminder, if you enjoy Against the Odds and the other series here on the channel, it would be so sweet of you if you could take a second, click that subscribe button down at the bottom of your screen. It's a great way to support the channel and the site for free. So let's talk Worldpurge, starting with the card itself. So Worldpurge, 8 mana, hybrid, blue and white for half of it. You bounce all permanents to their owner's hands. So a little bit Upheaval-esque, but then each player chooses up to 7 cards. They get to keep those, they shuffle the rest of their library, and you empty all mana pools. So Worldpurge is essentially the fixedest of Upheaval. So Upheaval, if you've ever seen Upheaval, it's like a cube all-star. Basically, how you play Upheaval is you try to make as much mana as possible, get up to like 10 mana, maybe 12 mana using mana dorks, cheap mana rocks, then you float all your mana, you Upheaval, you still have mana left over, so you immediately get to rebuild your board, while your opponent's left with literally nothing. A lot of times, your opponent's next turn is land, discard like 7 cards, go. While you have a big board rebuilt, that's how you play Upheaval. So Worldpurge, it's like Upheaval, but incredibly fixed, because you only get to keep 7 cards, because all of your mana empties out of your mana pool. It is much, much harder to break the symmetry of Worldpurge, like 100 times harder than Upheaval. So how do we go about Worldpurging and making this actually hopefully kind of work in Modern? And here we have a few tricks to try to break the symmetry of this really hard to break card. So first off, we have Teferi Time Raveler. I know everyone hates Teferi, but listen to me for a minute. Bear with me. Teferi in this deck is not really the centerpiece of the deck. It's a synergy card for Worldpurge. So way one that we can break Worldpurge's symmetry is by casting it on our opponent's end step by +1ing Teferi. So Teferi plus lets us cast sorceries as though they had flash. We let our opponent go. We go to our opponent's end step. Then we use all of our mana to Worldpurge. Sure, all the mana gets emptied of our mana pools, all that stuff. However, since it's our opponent's end step, they're not going to be able to make their land drop for the turn. We get to untap and hopefully not just replay a land, but also replay some of our mana ramp spells. So we cast on our opponent's end step. Opponent has nothing. We untap. Maybe we go land into Arbor Elf or land into Utopia Sprawl. So we're going to have 2 mana, up to 3 mana on the turn after, while our opponent's going to take a lot longer to rebuild. So way one of breaking the symmetry of Worldpurge, cast it on our opponent's end step with the help of Teferi. Arbor Elf, Utopia Sprawl, also just essential to ramping into Worldpurge. 8 mana is a lot, but being able to like tap and untap the land with Utopia Sprawl, that gets us there much, much quicker. Way two to break the symmetry of Worldpurge is to find a threat that survives the Worldpurge. And for this, I think the best option is Nezahal Primal Tide. So Nezahal, it's only a one of, it's really expensive, but basically a 7/7 can draw some cards, etc., etc. The big deal is it has this weird protection ability where we can discard 3 cards and we essentially flicker Nezahal until the end step. It exiles, end of turn it comes back into play tapped, whatever about the tap Nez. The trick is, if we are setting up Worldpurge, we can play Nezahal, then the next turn at 8 mana we have Worldpurge. We discard 3 cards from our hand, flicker out Nezahal, then we Worldpurge, bounce everything, and then, on our end step, Nezahal's coming back into play. So, no one's going to have anything. No lands, no creatures, no anything, except we get a 7/7 Nezahal, which hopefully could just kill our opponent. It's also sweet because discarding 3 cards, not much of a downside if we're Worldpurging, because we're probably going to go up to like 12, 15 cards in hand anyway, have to shuffle most of those back into our library. So, discarding 3 cards isn't a downside with Worldpurge coming next. So, step 1, cast on our opponent's end step. Step 2, Nezahal to flicker out, have a threat after Worldpurge. But honestly, these are really our backup plans. Our main plan is also by far the jankiest. However, it's also the most direct combo for Worldpurge. And that is, what we're really trying to do with this deck is get the Barren Glory with. So the idea here is really simple. We need to get a Barren Glory under a Detention Sphere. We have 4 Detention Spheres, 3 Barren Glory. So we cast Barren Glory, Detention Sphere, exiling our own Barren Glory, and then we resolve Worldpurge. And when we Worldpurge, we are able to use this as a combo piece to win the game. Worldpurge bounces everything, and then if you read Worldpurge, it says each player chooses up to 7 cards of their hand, shuffles the rest of their library. So Worldpurge by itself, it empties our battlefield, and then we get back our Barren Glory, because when Detention Sphere leaves play, Barren Glory comes back into play, and it allows us to choose 0 cards in our hand. So, let's say we get the Teferi going. To go with our Worldpurge, we have a Barren Glory under Detention Sphere on our opponent's end step. After taking up Teferi, we Worldpurge, bounce everything. Detention Sphere comes back to our hand, Barren Glory comes into play. We intentionally choose to have 0 cards in our hand with the shuffling everything back into Worldpurge, and then we go to our upkeep. That's next after our opponent's end step. We win the game with Barren Glory. So the number 1 goal of our deck is to pull off the Barren Glory kill, which admittedly is a super long shot, super duper long shot to actually make this happen. But that's our goal, that's our plan, that's our hope, to get the Barren Glory Worldpurge Detention Sphere combo kill in Modern. So fingers crossed that we're able to pull it off. It's not going to happen often, but if we do it one time, it will be worth any amount of losses. I gotta say, I think it's the best way to actually use Worldpurge as a win condition. It's the only way I have found to actually turn Worldpurge into a I win card. Normally it's like bounce everything, hopefully like get ahead of our opponent in mana, maybe parlay that into a victory, but that's very hard. Having Barren Glory, Detention Sphere, etc., 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 that's the only way I've found to make Worldpurge be like, all right, if I resolve this, I literally win the game on my next upkeep. So hopefully it actually works out. Otherwise, Risen Reef Mulldrifter, card advantage, more ramping to get up to 8 mana for Worldpurge and 6 mana for Barren Glory, etc., etc. A bunch of removal to help us stay alive. Path to Exile, Winds of Abandon, 2/2 split, a Supreme Verdict, 1 Force of Negation in the main. Mana base wise, a bunch of fetches, 1 Field of Ruin for Trod, some shock lands, some snow-covered basic lands. No snow-covered synergies. We're basically just using it to kind of juke our opponents out. Make us think maybe we have like an Icefang Quaddle or something. Sideboard. Bunch more removal. Beast Within can snag Traum lands and Planeswalkers and anything really. Celestial Purge for Jund primarily. Another Wrath. A bunch of targeted hate cards for unfair decks. Rest in Peace Surgical for Graveyard. Stamping Sphere for Tron and Storm combos. Stodious Islets hits a bunch of different stuff. Some more counters to customize our counter suite. Some life gain and Weather the Storm and Night of Autumn. And that is the ridiculousness of Worldpurge combo for Modern. And that's our Against the Odds deck for this week. So, hopefully it works. I really would love to see it happen once. If, like I said, if we can one time get a Barren Glory under Detention Sphere, Worldpurge win the game, any number of losses will be worth it. So hopefully it doesn't take us like 100 matches. Hopefully we can get it done before super long. So let's see if there's any chance this ridiculous deck can actually work. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoy it. And I'll be back in a bit with a wrap up. All right. Against the Odds time, we are playing one of the worst, jankiest, hardest to build around cards in maybe the entire, I don't even know, 200 plus episode series of Against the Odds, which is Worldpurge. And there is exactly one way to do something cool with Worldpurge that I found, which is you gotta get the Barren Glory win. So expect a lot of losses, but hopefully, eventually, we get the infamous Barren Glory win in Modern. That's our plan for today. Gonna try to Barren Glory him. It takes a lot. It takes a lot for it to work, but we're gonna give it a shot. All right. In this hand, we don't really have ramp, but it can keep us alive, which is good. Staying alive is decent. I do like living, generally speaking. Botanical Sanctum for our opponent, and Serum Visions, sure. Opponent, top bottom, and passes. Well, Misty Rainforest, crack it. Utopia Sprawl's a good draw. Snow-covered forest, Utopia Sprawl on blue. Pass the turn. That gets us to Teferi next turn, which is nice. Waterlogged Grove for our opponent. And so Teferi is pretty important to this deck because it allows us to instant speed Worldpurge, which then means we get to win on our upkeep, theoretically. Opponent passes. Well, yeah, in that case, let's just Let's just Arbor Elf. Get our mana flowing. Snow-covered plains. Pass the turn. Opponent. Wow, stuck on 2 lands and passing? Okay. Prismatic Vista. Well, play Prismatic Vista. Play Teferi. We actually have enough mana to pay for like a mana leak. Take up Teferi. And yeah, we'll just pass. All right, come on! Barren Glory. Barren Glory Worldpurge. We're actually pretty close. Oh, Allosaurus Rider. That's what's happening. Neoform. Yeah, so now we're probably just dead. Grizzlebrand. Well, crack this. Yeah. Opponent's doing unfair things. Draws, and we lose. Well, it's a legal deck. Yeah, we can't even get white mana anyway. Opponent draws a nice full hand. 16 cards. And, well, we got off to what seemed like a good start, but when Neobrand gets their draw, wow, our opponent fizzled and scooped. Okay. Well, that was not the dream draw, but we will take it. We will take any kind of win we can get against Neobrand, and how insanely brutal that deck is. So cards that are good against Neobrand, more Force Negations, Damping Sphere, if we can get it down quick enough. We can cut the Winds of Abandon. Oh, this deck. Cut Winds of Abandon and Supreme Verdict. Run it like that. Path has a tiny bit of value. Path can theoretically make our opponent whiff more with Grizzlebrand, but... So this is a hand that I would consider great in any matchup except this one. But I think we have to keep it and trust that Neobrand just fizzles itself. We don't have that many relevant cards. We're basically hoping for Force of Negation. That's a big one. Well, Misty Rainforest. Crack Misty Rainforest. Take a Breeding Pool. Untapped. And Arbor Elf. Go. Are we dead? Botanical Sanctum. Alright, not dead yet. Opponent passes. Temple Garden. So, they play some amount of basics, right? 1 island. Well, play Windswept Heath. Crack Windswept Heath. Get a Temple Garden. Untapped. Utopia Sprawl. On blue. Tap, untap. Tap. Risen Reef. Draw. Land, alright. Put the land into play, pass the turn. We were hoping to hit that Force Negation, but we haven't died yet. I don't know what our opponent's lacking. Island. Okay, now we should be dead. Opponent hit, they needed another mana, apparently, to win the game. Allosaurus Rider, Eldritch Evolution. Yep. Well, they fizzled last time. You never know. Sometimes they draw a bunch of cards and fizzle. It's not impossible. Opponent draws. It's asking a lot for it to happen twice in a match, though. Alright, there's Nourishing Shoal. Yup, now there's no fizzling, and we scoop it up. Okay. Well, let's draw. Maybe we should just mulligan until we hit Force Negation. Maybe that's our only realistic plan. Okay, that's a Force of Negation. This hand is actually really bad, but it has Force of Negation. Oh, opponent's keeping 7? They could have counter backup for their combo. Misty Rainforest, go. Opponent plays a tap land. Passes. Well, crack Misty Rainforest. Get a Breeding Pool. Untapped. Windswept Heath. Crack Windswept Heath. Get a Temple Garden. Untapped. Utopia Sprawl. Temple Garden. On blue. Pass the turn. We gotta hope that this Force of Negation is good enough. Allosaurus Rider. Eldritch Evolution. Well, alright. Exile Worldpurge. Game? I mean, does that count as a Worldpurge win? We did exile Worldpurge as our blue card to Force of Negation. That's gotta be at least half a win, right? We Worldpurged him. That's what we've been trying to do. That's it. We got him. Mission accomplished. Against odds episode over. See you later. Oh, boy. All right. Well, a win's a win. We'll take it. All right. Against the odds time, we are world purging. Trying to world purge. Oh my god, this card is hard. In Modern, and yeah, we'll give this a shot. We got a quick Teferi. That's something. That's actually pretty good if we resolve it against our opponent's deck. Breeding Pool, untapped, and Arbor Elf. I mean, Teferi's good against control, shuts down their counters. The rest of this hand, meh, not that exciting. But Ooh, Jeskai control. And opponent lightning bolts. All right, looking worse. Looking worse. Opponent passes. Windswept Teeth. You. Force of Negation's not horrible. Supreme Verdict, I assume, is basically a dead card. Opponent plays an island. Geist of St. Traft. Well, okay. Maybe Supreme Verdict is not quite a dead card. It's not a good card, but it's not completely dead because it can kill a Geist of St. Traft. Opponent passes. Worldpurge. Well, that's a minute away from doing things. Windswept Teeth, go. So we're going to have to take a hit here and then try to Supreme Verdict. And then, I don't even know, hope and pray to the magic gods. Opponent getting in, hitting us for 6. We drop to 11. Whew, this is a tough one. Sure, opponent hits us. Token goes away. Passes. Well, crack Windswept Teeth. Grab a breeding pool. Tapped. Untap. We will play Hallowed Fountain. Untapped. We will play Utopia Sprawl on blue. And, I mean, we got to do this. I'm not happy about it, but Supreme Verdict. Kill the Geist. Kill the Geist. Pass the turn. Opponent has a Snapcaster for the Bolt, and I think we're just dead. Yeah. Opponent. A Hallowed Fountain. Tapped. Opponent. Scalding Tarn. Goes to combat. Gets in. Yup. Passes. Winds of Abandon. Yeah. Alright. Hi. The Worldpurge life is a hard life. That much we've learned. Force of Negation's in. Winds of Abandon out. Actually, maybe we leave Winds in. Maybe Winds is just better than Path, actually. Beast Within? Huh. What is our hope and prayers? Do we have any? Surgical? Ugh. Alright. Run it like that. Bring in a couple more counters. Run it like that. We get to be on the play, which is nice. Someday we're going to get it. I mean, when you sit down and say, I'm going to put a Barren Glory under a Detention Sphere and cast Worldpurge, you sit down knowing that you're going to play a lot of rough matches before you hit the good one. That just comes with the territory. But hopefully it'll happen eventually. All right, we get to play first. I mean, we'll keep this. We don't have any one-mana acceleration, which is sad, but I mean, this is we got 2 of our 3 drops. Land go. Opponent. Flooded Strand. Passes. Well, land go. Opponent. Cracks Flooded Strand. Steam Bends. Tapped. Celestial Colonnade for our opponent. Passes. Well, Windswept Teeth. Crack it. We will take a Snow-Covered Plains. We will run out a Risen Reef into Utopia Sprawl. Well, that's some ramp for the future. Pass the turn. Opponent. Bolts the Risen Reef. Well, that was expected. Celestial Colonnade for our opponent. Passes. More Barren Glories. We'll play the Snow-Covered Forest. Utopia Sprawl on blue. 1, 2, 3. Teferi's going to get countered, and it's sad. Yeah, let's just pass. Opponent. 7 cards in hand still. Scalding Tarn. And passes. Well, Windswept Teeth. Crack it. Grab a Temple Garden. Untapped. And it's Barren Glory time. Barren Glory. Go. I assume our opponent will not let this resolve. Okay, they let it resolve. I mean, that's something. That is something. We're heading in the right direction-ish. Opponent cracks Scalding Tarn. Hallowed Fountain. Tapped. Opponent untaps. Hallowed Fountain. Tapped. And passes. Now play Snow-Covered Island. Play Teferi. Okay. Well, okay. Detention Sphere. Get rid of Barren Glory. One time, Magic Gods. One time a world purge. The dream could be being lived. It's possible that the dream is lived. Mountain. Opponent. Passes. Detention sphere. Well, take up to fairy. Pass the turn. We need our world purge. We need our world purge. Opponent. Field of Ruin. Sure, that's fine. And passes. Arbor Elf. Well, take up to fairy. Play Arbor Elf. Pass the turn. We have the mana. We got the setup. We need the world purge. That is what we're missing. Opponent gonna blow up our land. We'll grab another one. Come on, Magic Gods. Come on. If you ever want to smile upon the barren glories of the world, this would be the game to do it. Opponent. Still 7 cards in hand. What do they have? Whew. That's a lot of mana. Colonnade. Okay. Attacks to fairy. Well, we will... Winds of Abandon. We're probably going to take down to... Oh, but then we can't go instant feed. Oh, we just want World Purge. Misty. Well, play Misty. Crack Misty. Snow-covered forest. Draw a card with Teferi. World Purge. It's a land. Alright. Well, we pass the turn. Oh, I think the dream's dying. We just could not find the World Purge. Oh, we were so close. We actually got many steps of the process set up. Once Teferi dies, though, then our opponent's counter spells come back online. And that is a good way to ruin a World Purge. Opponent plays a land. Colonnade can kill Teferi. Maybe we should have just kept ticking up. I feel like we needed to draw and try to hit World Purge, though. We got so many lands out of our deck. There is the Colonnade. Colonnade. Going to kill our Teferi. Turn on counter spells for our opponent. Yeah, hits us to 15. And opponent. Mana's freed up. Passes. Detention Sphere Part 3. That's not super helpful. Now, Temple Garden. Tapped. We will pass the turn. Oh! Where's our World Purges? Opponent plays a land. Yeah, this is sad now. Here comes Colonnade. Opponent gets in. Hits us. Yup. Down to 11. Passes. We managed to find even more lands. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a land. Colonnade. Yeah. Gonna get in. Hit us to 7. We'll crack this. Try to get even more lands out of our deck. Hollowed Fountain, sure, whatever. Down to 6. Dead to double bolt. Opponent passes. We draw more Arbor Elves. Where's a World Purge when you need it? Not in our deck, that's for sure. In our hand. Opponent. Well, I guess the good news is this is the closest we've gotten so far. We actually got the Barren Glory under Detention Sphere, which, that's something. That's something. Opponent hits us, yep, bolts us. Oh, doesn't bolt us? Does something. Geist of Saint Draft. Well, let's draw World Purge and miraculously have it resolve. Alright, and opponent, a little slow roll there, upkeep with the bolt. Wow. Well, we got close, we just couldn't draw World Purge. We couldn't draw it, we were going to draw more lands. Alright. Alright, against the odds time. We are really trying to overcome the odds this week. We are looking to World Purge, but not just World Purge. World Purge, Barren Glory, combo. Sooner or later it's going to happen. The Magic Gods will smile upon us. They're not smiling. Oh, the gig is up, or the jig is up. I never know what one that is. Both kind of make sense. Like, the gig is up, that would mean, like, your job ended. But then, the jig is up would mean you stop dancing. I'm going to go with jig. Jig probably makes the most sense there. But, anyway, we're probably going to lose to, I don't know, Teferi or Arbor Elf, one or the other. Both are cards that we wanted. Opponent takes Arbor Elf. All right, going to let us have the Teferi for the time being. 1-drop acceleration. Ha-ha! Punished. I hate when that happens to me, but I do love when it happens to our opponents. When you just draw the card that is thought seized. Arbor Elf, go. Opponent. Aww. Answer Central over there. Looks like our opponent's playing Jund. Windswept Teeth, go. Opponent. There's a thought seize. Oh my god. So we lose our Teferi. And this leaves us without a whole lot going on. Opponent passes. Thankfully, our opponent doesn't have a clock yet. Crack, grab a breeding pool. Got in the deck, Crim style. Untap, Teferi. Alright, Detention Sphere. Well, land go. I mean, Detention Sphere's fine. It does answer something. Not great to answer something in then Worldpurge, but Overgrown Tomb for our opponent. Tapped, untaps, and Schwamp. And there's a Bloodbraid. Ye old 2-for-1 into... Alright, that could have been worse. It's just a Bolt. Bolt is not the scariest thing our opponent could have hit. Down to 14, down to 11. Quack, Windswept Teeth, down to 10. Take a Hollowed Fountain. Untap. Moldrifter. I'll play a land. Yeah, let's just Winds of Abandon. We would rather actually hardcast this Moldrifter. We'll give it one more turn. If we draw a land, we can just hardcast Moldrifter. If we don't draw a land, then we might have to evoke it just to hit a land. Opponent probably has some semi-dead removal spells in hand. Nurturing Peatland. Cracks it. Renin 6. Yeah, alright. Can get back Nurturing Peatland. Yeah, we're going to have to deal with that now, too. That's a card advantage engine. Opponent passes. Path to Exile. Well, in that case, we will Detention Sphere. Get rid of Renin 6. Pass the turn. So next turn, if we don't draw a land and nothing goes wrong, we can Muldrifter Path the Muldrifter with the Evoke trigger on the stack. Opponent. Maelstrom Pulse gets back Renin 6. Yup. Well, the card draw engine is very much online. Opponent gets a land, plays a land, cracks. Liliana 2. Oh boy. And that is Liliana 2. Takes up Liliana. Well, there goes Worldpurge. We are a lot of lands away from casting that. Opponent passes. Alright, so Utopia Sprawl the Forest on blue. Evoke a Muldrifter. Trigger on the stack, Path the Muldrifter. Snow-covered island. Draw a couple cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, we're getting close to Worldpurge mana, but this Liliana, yeah, I think we're just kind of Planeswalker locked here. Opponent. Peatland. Yeah, it's a combo. These Horizon lands with Renin 6, pretty good. Opponents just kind of like built their own Howling Mine, more or less. Gets back the card draw. Takes up. And they can also discard stuff to Liliana. We'll discard, I guess, Breeding Pool. Opponent discards Wooded Foothills. And passes. Do we even cast it? I think we're just dead. Yeah, we'll cast it, whatever. No early scoops. Barren Glory, go. I mean, I do think we're just dead, because they're going to ultimate Liliana. This Renin 6 is drawing an extra card each turn. So much card advantage. Pretty impressed. Renin 6 is. There's a reason it's $150 on Magic Online, and like $100 in paper. Tireless Tracker, alright. Let's call it a day. At least we showed our opponent the Barren Glory, so they know what to be afraid of. Gotta send a message. Bring in Celestial Purge. Bring in maybe like another Force of Negation. Go down, I think Supreme Verdict. And maybe we gotta go down to 2 Barren Glories. Try it like that. I mean, we can draw some cards and do some stuff if we get like Risen Reefs and Muldrifters going, but Jund is really good at the grind. That's kind of why you play Jund. Alright, we are on the play. Alright, I like this. This is pretty decent. We'll see how heavily we get Thoughtseized, but... so let's Prismatic Vista, crack it, Snow-Covered Forest, and Arbor Elf. Pass the turn. Blackleaf Cliffs, and, alright, Bolt, Arbor Elf. Opponent passes. Well, Utopia Sprawl on blue, Misty Rainforest, go. Come on, no discard, no Thoughtseizes, please. Opponent. Inquisition. So there goes our Risen Reef, sadly. And Raging Ravine. Well, crack this. Grab a Hollowed Fountain tapped. We might have to evoke this Muldrifter. Ooh. Yeah, let's evoke it. Let's Misty Rainforest. Crack Misty Rainforest. Grab a Snow-Covered Island? Yeah, Snow-Covered Island. Tap all of our mana. Evoke a Muldrifter. Draw a couple cards. Arbor Elf. Pass the turn. Opponent. Thoughtseizes RD Sphere. Verdant Catacombs. And passes. Okay. Well, play Teferi. Yeah, I think we just need to draw. Actually, play Windswept Teeth. Crack Windswept Teeth. Breeding Pool, tapped. And now we'll draw. Untap, Utopia Sprawl on white. All right, pass the turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, we're close. We're close to Worldpurge mana. We don't have the combo set up, but I guess Assassin's Trophy on Utopia Sprawl land is also a thing. Opponent, tap land, and passes. Worldpurge, Worldpurge. One time, path. Well, take up to Fairy. Snow-covered plains. Go to combat, chip in for 1, and pass the turn. Opponent cracks. Oh, we have the Teferi too, so we can even instant speed a Worldpurge if we draw it. Swamp for our opponent. I feel like this is the Raging Ravine, yeah. Raging Ravine. Opponent. Oh man, one time with the Worldpurge. It would be pretty sweet. Get rid of Raging Ravine. Opponent. Come on, deck. Come on, give us that Worldpurge. Detention Sphere. Well, take up to Fairy. Pass the turn. This time we're not going to attack. Swamp for our opponent. Liliana. Do they kill Arbor Elf? They kill Arbor Elf, yep. And opponent passing. Huh. Well, take down Teferi to draw a card. Play Teferi. Play Risen Reef. Hit Detention Sphere. Take up Teferi. Pass the turn. Well, we're close. Boat it. Takes up. We'll discard Detention Sphere, I think. Tough choice. Opponent discards Buckleaf Cliffs. And kills Teferi. Yep. Plays a land. Cracks. Oh, they have something else too. Opponent's just got a little bit of everything. Gets a mountain. Bloodbraid into Tarmogoyf. Well, opponent's got a clock. It's official. Opponent gets in with Bloodbraid. Sure. Down to 13. Passes. We draw. Temple Garden. Well, I think this means we need to Detention Sphere. Get rid of Tarmogoyf. Temple Garden. Tapped. Go to combat. Hit Liliana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have Worldpurge mana. Unfortunately, we lost our Teferi, so we can't instant speed it, which makes it worse. Ugh. Another Tarmogoyf is also bad news. Opponent, Tarmogoyf takes up. Winds of Abandon would be nice. We could deal with a Winds of Abandon. Second Risen Reef or Muldrifter would be good. Teferi's actually sneaky good. We can pick up the Detention Sphere and get rid of both Goyfs. Okay, so Teferi, bounce Detention Sphere. Give our opponent back Detention Sphere. Oh, we're greedy. We're greedy. We're greedy. We gotta be greedy here. We gotta trust that we hit a land off this Risen Reef. So play Risen Reef. 2 triggers. We need a land. Force of Negation. Land? Worldpurge. Oh god. Okay. Neither of those were lands, which is less than ideal. Opponent takes down. Kills Risen Reef. Combat. Everything at our face. We block with Risen Reef, we go to 1. But we have Worldpurge mana, and we have Teferi. Raging Ravine. Okay. Well, that gives us hope. Take up Teferi. Pass the turn. Alright, Worldpurge. Worldpurge Teferi. Keep us alive. Boat it. Combat. Attacks. Well, alright. We hit a Worldpurge. This is one of the things our deck can do. So we'll keep, let's see, Utopia Sprawl, basic. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Teferi's 5. Detention Sphere 6. And I guess the other Utopia Sprawl. Alright. Try to rebuild as quickly as possible. Opponent passes. Well, Forest. Utopia Sprawl on blue. Pass the turn. Opponent, Blackleaf Cliffs. Lightning Bolt. Well, we will Force of Negation, pitching Detention Sphere. Staying alive. Man, that was a good draw for our opponent. Opponent passes. Play Snow-Covered Plains. Teferi. Take it up. Pass the turn. We are rebuilding quicker than our opponent, but we're at 1 life, so we're dead to a not even stiff breeze, like a light breeze. Opponent. Oh my god. Running bird spells. Well, at least we got to cast a Worldpurge. That's a step in the right direction. A little-ish. Oh, well, at one life, a lot of things can go wrong. So I guess it's not surprising that we died. Although it is a little rough that our opponent went apparently Lightning Bolt Collective Brutality off the top post Worldpurge. But yeah, 8 mana is a lot. If we do get to Worldpurge, we're often at a low life total. So yeah. All right. All right. Against the odds time, we are taking the Worldpurge challenge here in Modern, and we'll give this a go. We got a Risen Reef for ramping, and a Muldrifter for maybe more ramping. Seems functional-ish. Opponent. Ooh, Tron. Alright, well, let's get to Worldpurge very quickly. Snow-covered forest, Utopia Sprawl. On blue, pass the turn. Opponent. Cracks. Green. And, come on, no second land. Blast Zone. Sylvan Scrying. Alright, so opponent hitting their land drops, finding their Tron pieces. Opponent passes. Well, there's Worldpurge. Is there any possibility of us getting to it before we die? Hollowed Fountain, untapped, Risen Reef. Into a Risen Reef. I mean, we're going to be generating value, but is that enough? Opponent. Chromatic Star. Cracks it. Tower. So that was the Tron land they found last turn. And passes. Well, if they don't have the last Tron land, we have a bit of hope. Opponent passes. Well, let's Risen Reef. Get some triggers. Risen Reef number 3. And a not super helpful path to exile. Temple Garden tapped. Go attacking. Gotta hope we dodge Tron here. So we're up to 5 mana next turn. Worldpurge does seem good if we get to it. Alright, not Tron. That's good. 4 mana. Walking Ballista. Alright, so that can kill our Risen Reefs, which is obnoxious. Risen Reef, yup. Opponent passes. Well, I guess we just play Risen Reef. Land. Hit a land. Utopia Sprawl. Well, Utopia Sprawl's not the worst, except it dies to Blast Zone. Well, we're still going to play it. Utopia Sprawl. On blue. Pass the turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're still a bit away from being able to Worldpurge, even more so if our opponent cracks Blast Zone. Thankfully, we haven't got Tron yet, though. Expedition Map. Okay. Cracks Expedition Map. Power Plant. Opponent. Tron assembled. Well, we untap. Nezahal. Well, I guess we Muldrifter. Risen Reef trigger. Put the land into play. Muldrifter. Snow-covered forest. Go to combat. Get in for 1. Hit our opponent. And pass the turn. We might be able to Worldpurge next turn. It's not impossible. What do you got, opponent? What do you got with all that mana? Sanctum of Ugin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 mana. In an ideal world, we would first Nezahal, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In an ideal world, we would first Nezahal, and then follow up. Ooh. Alright, that's a Ulamog. That's bad. That puts us way down on mana. Okay. Opponent sacks. Well, now we're not anywhere close to doing anything. For a second Ulamog. Yeah, that's not the card we wanted to see in our opponent's hand. Not by a long shot. Well, Temple Garden untapped. We lose about 1 million mana. Opponent gets an Ulamog. Yeah, we were definitely hoping for something like Karn that we could counter. Ulamog is especially bad for us. That is as bad as it could go. Chromatic Star, opponent. But they have another Ulamog that we don't have an answer for. Well, go to combat, attack, hit our opponent with Muldrifter, play. Yeah, we're pretty done here. That is a smidge unfortunate. We had like 90% of our opponent's finishers covered, but they had the 10%er with the Ulamog, and that's the one that we can't beat. And now they just get to do it again and exile our board again. Opponent cracking. Yeah. Add mana. Worldbreaker. Good lord. Oh, this is so incredibly bad for us. Yeah, I think that's officially game. Well, opponent had all the creature finishers, and our Force of Negation just did nothing. Well then, that was really rough. Oh, I don't know how this goes. We get some sideboard cards. Whether or not these sideboard cards can swing the matchup in our favor, that is an entirely different question. Go down Winds of Abandon. Go down... Ugh, boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. How do we possibly make this work? So we have some ways to blow up Tron Land. Stony Silence, Damping Sphere are good. Go down Supreme Verdict. Probably got to cut a Muldrifter. Probably got to trim a Barren Glory, unfortunately. Man, we were so close. We were super close to doing what we wanted to do. Super, super close. So trim, 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 trim. Trim. Yeah, no Muldrifters, I guess. I guess one Path to Exile, run it like that. Oh, boy. Well, unfortunately, that was the one time I was rooting for... The one time I was rooting for Tron to have Karn. That would have actually been the perfect time for Karn to have Tron. Or Tron to have Karn. But wasn't meant to be. Alright. Misty Rainforest. Crack it. Grab a Breeding Pool. Untap. Opponent's keeping 7, which is also a little concerning for Tron. Tron normally not a keep 7 type of deck, but it is today. Expedition Map. Opponent passes. Well, Windswept Teeth. Crack Windswept Teeth. Grab a Temple Garden. Untapped. Tap. Untap. Tap. Tap. To Fairy. Bounce Expedition Map. Pass the turn. Opponent. Well, we're fighting the good fight. We're going to need to find a Damping Sphere or something, though. We can counter a couple of finishers, but opponent, Walking Ballista, kills Arbor Elf. Okay. Opponent passes. Now, playing Windswept Teeth, take up to Fairy. I guess we just got to pass. I think leaving up a counter is probably more important than Oblivion Stone. Okay. Opponent, passing. Well, crack Windswept Teeth. Take a Breeding Pool tapped. Untap. Take up to Fairy. Snow-covered plains. Run out a Risen Reef. If we can tap properly. Risen Reef. Alright, we get a land. Pass the turn. Alright, opponent, let's see what you got. Hopefully not Tron. Opponent. Expedition Map. Well, yeah, we're going to have to counter that. And hope they don't have Tron. And Chromatic Sphere. And cracks Chromatic Sphere. Damping Sphere. Ancient Stirrings for our opponent. Do they get their Tron piece? They get an Ulamog. So once they get Tron... Oh my god, and they just have it. Okay. Okay. Opponent had it the whole time. Well, life is super bad. Yeah. Well, let's draw a Damping Sphere. Off the top. Or a Beast Within is kind of okay. Expedition Map. Oh god. Cracks Expedition Map. Yeah, that's what happens when Tron keeps 7. Nothing good for the opposing player. Opponent. Pass it. That is a Damping Sphere. We will bounce Oblivion Stone, draw a card. We will play a Damping Sphere. We will play Prismatic Vista. We will go to combat. So this keeps us alive for a turn, but we know that our opponent can replay a sweeper. So we need to draw another answer next turn. Sanctum of Ugin. Yeah, Oblivion Stone returns. Come on, deck. Come on, deck. Give us that Stony Silence. Give us that Stony Silence. Crack Prismatic Vista. Snow-covered island. Untap. Prismatic Vista. Yep. Well, that's not what we were looking for. Risen Reef. Go to combat. Get in. I mean, we're up to enough mana that we could cast a Worldpurge. But we're going to get our board Wrath and our Damping Sphere Wrath by this Oblivion Stone, which is really bad. Opponent passes. Well, crack Prismatic Vista. I guess we just got a top deck Worldpurge. Snow-covered forest. Untap. Oh, that would have been good in a past life. Play a tap land. Go to combat. That would have actually been good last turn. We could have gotten rid of the Oblivion Stone, but yeah. It looks like our opponent got us. We drew the Damping Sphere, but our opponent drew the Oblivion Stone, and we couldn't find a Stony Silence. Opponent blows everything up, and yeah, that does it. We can counter the Ulamog, but it exiles lands, and they get another one, then it exiles lands, and there's just not a way to come back from there. Needed that Stony Silence. Couldn't find it. All right, against the odds time, we are desperately trying to win with Worldpurge. Worldpurge Barren Glory in Modern. So far, the results have been less than optimal. Well, we got some Barren Glories. Opponent. Scalding Tarn. Crack Scalding Tarn. Gets a Mountain. And Gargadon suspended. Okay. Interesting. Oh, Barren Glorytron off the top. Okay, sure. Sure, Magic Gods. Thank you very much. Okay. Mountain. And crack the earth. Okay. Well, we'll sack our Utopia Sprawl. Opponent passes. Yeah, that's kind of cute. Play a Misty Rainforest, pass the turn. Opponent. Gargadon's ticking down. Spire Bluff Canal. And Gargadon suspended. Well, crack Misty Rainforest. Take a Hallowed Fountain tapped. Untap. Windswept Eve. Crack it. Take a Breeding Pool. Run out to Fairy. Take up to Fairy. Pass the turn. These Barren Glories are kind of mocking us at the moment. Gargadon's taken down. If we keep to Fairy out, we can't actually get Gargadon, which is nice. Because it's not sorcery speed. Opponent. Are we getting Blood Mooned? Okay. Steals our Teferi. Takes down to draw a card. Well, you can't sack that to a Gargadon. That's not how Gargadon works. Opponent. Alright, so I was basically cycling this catch and release and getting some loyalty off Teferi, unfortunately. Nezahal. Nezahal is sweet, but we're way short on mana. We're going to need some Risen Reefs or some of our ramp stuff. Losing that land is pretty bad, and our Teferi is now to the point where it could be lightning bolted, which is also pretty bad. Missing these land drops is brutal, though. Opponent. Alright, they have the lightning bolt. Life is getting worse by the second. Opponent. Passes. Well, we drew a land. All right, pass the turn. Pass the turn. Only 4 more lands, and we can potentially cast a Nezahal. Opponent taking down the Gargadons. Taking down the Gargadons. Beseju. Well, they got something they don't want countered. We untap. I'll play Arbor Elf. Pass the turn. Opponent taking down the Gargadons. Taking down the Gargadons. Oh, losing that Teferi is actually so painful for us. Steam Vents for our opponent. Untapped. Okay. Casting something uncounterably. Hijack. Well, let's path our Arbor Elf. Man, our deck seems absolutely designed to beat what our opponent's trying to do, but the way this is playing out, I'm not sure that it's going to work in our favor. We've missed so many land drops. Opponent attempts to hijack. See if they sack most of their lands to get a Gargadon. Okay, last card is Force of Rage. And, yeah, looks like we're pretty dead. Boy. I can't believe we're losing to this. I think it's, sort of like 1 in a million that we would lose to this, but here we are. Well, we finally drew a creature. It's a Risen Reef. We will cast it. I guess we're losing because we drew triple Barren Glory. That is the actual TLDR of this. Temple Garden on the battlefield. Pass the turn. Alright, opponent. Kill us. So opponent gets a Greater Gargadon. Then we lose to Greater Gargadon. I think that's where we're at. Yep. Yeah, we're actually just literally dead here, so yeah, go to sideboarding. We can bring in a Celestial Purge. I guess a Disdainful Stroke. I don't think we want to change much. Alright, on to game 2. I mean, we'll keep this. All 7 drops, go. Let's play some Magic. Hallowed Fountain tapped. Opponent also keeps 7. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Mountain. Passes. Do we hit a land? We don't. Well, land go. Opponent plays a land. Scalding Tarn, cracks it. Young Pyromancer. Opponent passing. Well, we will pat the exile Young Pyromancer. Opponent casts a Gut Shot. Alright, Misty Rainforest. We will play it. We will crack it. We will get an island. We will play a Risen Reef. We will trigger Risen Reef. Worldpurge number 2. Alright, that's a year or 2 away. Opponent, Scalding Tarn. Cracks Scalding Tarn. Opponent kills our Risen Reef. Goes to combat. Attacks. Hits us. Yup. Down to 17. Passes. We draw Field of Ruin. We play Teferi. We will bounce the token, draw a card. Pass the turn. Opponent. Force of Rage. Alright. Get in there, Elementals. Opponent. Hits us. Hits us. Alright. No fear of Teferi. So we drop to 11. And opponent bolts our Teferi. We untap. We draw a land. Well, all right, breeding pool. Shock ourselves. Maybe this is the time. We draw a couple cards. None of them, are lands. Well, pass the turn. See what our opponent's got. Loses their elementals. Greater Gargadon suspended. And opponent. They hit the threaten effect. Sure. Oh boy. Gets in, hits us to 7. Sure. And then they get to sack our Muldrifter. We draw Arbor Elf. Well, we will Risen Reef, get a Prismatic Vista, play Prismatic Vista, crack Prismatic Vista, down to 6. Snow-covered Forest, play Arbor Elf. Play Arbor Elf. Pass the turn. I don't know if World Purging even actually helps us. Opponent, yep, doing their things. There's a young Pyromancer. Opponent passes. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Untap. 6. Untap. 7. Nezahal. Pass the turn. Opponent. Gargadon's ticking down. All right, opponent, what you got? What you got? Opponent. Hijacks. Well, all right. We get to draw a card. Discard. 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 Blink our Nezahal. Opponent. Yep, gets a token. Goes to combat. Passes. Well, Nezahal returns. We untap. Well, Field of Ruin the Steam Vents. Our opponent can sack it, but then they're strip mine down to less mana. Opponent does sack it. Okay. Well, no blue mana for our opponent. Play Prismatic Vista. Go to combat. Attack. Opponent blocks. The problem with using World Purge here is our opponent just sacks all their stuff and then we lose. So we're not in a... This is oddly a bad time for World Purge, even though we could actually cast it this game. Opponent, 3 mana. Hijack, so we draw a card. Well, sadly, we have to discard our World Purges, blink our Nezahal. Opponent gets a 1/1. Opponent, passing. Well, Nezahal returns, crack Prismatic Vista. Get a land. Untap. We draw something relevant. Please, Muldrifter. Muldrifter's semi-relevant. We will cast Muldrifter, draw a couple cards, trigger Risen Reef. Interesting. Untap a forest. Untap a forest. Play Utopia Sprawl on white. Get rid of the young Pyromancer. Go to combat. Attack with Nezahal. Opponent blocks and sacks. Okay, sure. Well, what you got, opponent? What you got? What you got? We got a path left over. That Muldrifter was nice. Opponent, taking down Gargadon. Still 3 lands. Ball Lightning goes to combat. Tries to attack. Well, we will Path Exile. Opponent sacks. Garg's down to 1. Yup. Opponent passes. We draw. Force of Negation. Well, go to combat. Attack. Attack. Hit our opponent. Down to 11. Pass the turn. Gargadon coming down. Sack outlet. Done for. So opponent gets a Gargadon. And combat. No attacks. Sure. Well, we untap. We draw. Detention Sphere. Well, let's go for it. Detention Sphere. Get rid of Gargadon. Oh, we still didn't get to World Purge. Go to combat. I mean, we are going for it. We have counter backup. Swing with everything. Opponent, 3 mana. Sulfur Elemental. That does keep our opponent alive. Why are they playing that? We don't even have white creatures. Chumps. Opponent goes to 6. We pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Manamorphose. Sure. We draw a card. It's an Arbor Elf. We were so close to getting to World Purge. Opponent plays Spire Bluff. It scoops it up, and okay. Well, it was a win. It was not a beautiful win or a good win or any of those words, but technically it is a win, and we technically killed our opponent. Let's bring back in a Winds of Abandon, run it like that. All right, we have all of our combo pieces. No ramp. All right, we're going to try it, see what happens. Scalding Tarn for our opponent. Crack Scalding Tarn. And passes. Oh my god, World Purge. Well, Misty Rainforest, go. Opponent. Spire Bluff Canal. And Passes. Well, okay. Pat the Exile. Windswept Heath, go. Opponent. Steam Vents, tapped. And passes. Well, Windswept Heath, go. Opponent. Untaps. Mountain. Young Pyromancer. And passes. Well, crack Windswept Heath. Get a Snow-Covered Plains. Get rid of Young Pyromancer. Opponent bolts our face, makes a token. Bolts our face, makes a token. Sure. So we drop to 13. Pyromancer goes away. Now, crack this. Take a Breeding Pool tapped. Crack this. Take a Hollowed Fountain tapped. Untap. And let's just Detention Sphere. Get rid of the elementals. Misty Rainforest, go. Alright, I mean, we're fighting the good fight. We're up to 4 mana. That's halfway to a Worldpurge. Opponent. Steam Vents, tapped. Metamorphose. Draws a card. And, okay, Force of Rage. Well, we're dropping to 5. Maybe we just get burnt out by the jank. Yup, down to 5. Well, crack Misty, down to 4. Take a Breeding Pool tapped. Run out. Run out to Fairy. Bounce Detention Sphere. Prismatic Vista. Pass the turn. Tokens going away. Mountain for our opponent. And passes. Well, take up to Fairy. Play Risen Reef. Trigger. Get a Breeding Pool tapped. Utopia Sprawl Breeding Pool. On white. Pass the turn. I mean, we kind of have things set up. I just don't know if we live long enough to make this work. Opponent untaps. And are we dead? Land. Opponent. Tapping, untapping. Seems like they have a hijack, and they don't know if it's worth taking Risen Reef. Sulfur Elemental. Alright. And anything else? Hijack. Alright. Well, opponent's out of cards. Officially. Hits us to 3. Well, now there's no reason to not crack our Prismatic Vista. Down to 3. Crack Prismatic Vista. Down to 2. Snow-Covered Island. Untap. Utopia Sprawl. So, we play Utopia Sprawl on Breeding Pool. On white, I guess. We Supreme Verdict. Sweep the board. Take up to Fairy. Pass the turn. Oh, come on, whiff. We're kind of close. Opponent. Scalding Tard. That's a whiff. Opponent passes. We draw. Arbor Elf. So, play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Play Barren Glory. Play Arbor Elf. Take up to Fairy. Oh, man. We need one more whiff. We need one more whiff and we can do it. One more. One more. Please don't kill us. Please. Please. This is what we've been waiting for. The Worldpurge. Opponent. Steam Vents. Please. Come on. Gargadon. Whatever. Nothing that makes us die. Opponent. What you got, opponent? What you got? We have the mana. We have the mana. We have the Worldpurge. We have the Barren Glory. We have everything. Is this the long-awaited time for Worldpurge to do its thing? 4 mana. Okay. Opponent. 5 mana. Okay. Word of Seizing Barren Glory. That's fine. That's fine. Oh my god. We're doing it. So tap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Detention Sphere. On Barren Glory. Take up to Fairy. Untap. Stop on our opponent's upkeep. We even have Force Negation. Upkeep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Worldpurge. Oh my god. Oh my god, it happened. It happened. Pick them up. Pick them up. Pick them all up. Yes. Detention Sphere goes away. We get back our Barren Glory. It happened. Oh, Persistence pays off. We lose if our opponent hits a lightning bolt, I think. Opponent. Done! Done! It happened! The cheese stands alone! The Barren Glory win! Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, Worldpurge, it did a thing. It was not easy. We needed fizzling. We needed a really weird, janky matchup. But the dreams come true. Persistence pays off with the Worldpurge. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, we'll take it. We will certainly take it. Oh, sweet. So what do we learn this week about Worldpurge in Modern? And first off, after all that work, finally pulling off the combo, I can't believe I got overexcited and messed it up by keeping cards in hand, but thankfully, our opponent didn't realize that I messed it up and scooped anyway, so kind of the old double punt climax, but technically we did pull it off. It took a lot of work, it took a lot of losing, but if you're persistent enough, eventually we prove that it is possible to win with Worldpurge, Detention Sphere, Barren Glory, so we did what we wanted to do. Record-wise, our deck was oddly not that horrible. We went 2-3 in matches, which is 40%, although honestly, one of our wins was against Neobrand, where our game 1 our opponent fizzled, game 2 they kill us really quickly, game 3 we do a Force of Negation, although the Force of Negation did technically pitch Worldpurge to counter an Eldritch Evolution, so Worldpurge kind of did win that one. Then we got crushed, finally pulled off the combo, so overall 40% match win percentage is actually not horrible, although it felt much less competitive than 40% would actually suggest. It is definitely a tough one, and really, kind of knew it going into it. Worldpurge is a tough card. It is not an easy card to break the symmetry of. I'm just happy that eventually, even though there's a little bit of punting involved, made it a little bit riskier and less consistent and easy than we needed to with the punt. We did eventually pull off the combo. So, I don't know. If you want to win the Barren Glory challenge, I think Worldpurge is a good way to do it. Actually, oddly, one of the best ways to do it. The thing is, Worldpurge and Barren Glory, it's just not really a competitive idea, even with like Teferi for support, a bunch of Reb for support. So I think this is the kind of deck that would be fun to play at your kitchen table maybe, especially a more budget-friendly build of it perhaps, because $845, that is a lot to spend on your kitchen table play, but it's cool to pull off. And if you want to say, I got you with Barren Glory and Worldpurge, I think this deck is a way to do it, and I do think that winning with Barren Glory is like the best thing Worldpurge can do, as awkward as that sounds. There's just not a lot of ways to really break the symmetry of it. So I feel like, all things considered, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I wish I had put all of our cards back and not punted at the end. I was just so amazed and floored that we actually got to resolve Worldpurge with a Barren Glory under Detention Sphere that everything else just went out the window. I was just too excited and just like going for it. I knew we had it and managed to mess it up along the way. So anyway, we got there with Worldpurge eventually. Record 40% match win percentage, although really don't believe that you'll win 40% of the time with this deck. I think that is pretty ambitious. So it was fun. It was cool. I'm glad we pulled it off eventually, even with some punting involved. So anyway, that's been our Against Odds for this week. Worldpurge combo, Barren Glory-ish for Modern. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.